Hello, our valuable followers. Before starting our story, subscribe to our channel and like the video to reserve your place for the next video. A lonely dog. Small, weak, its fur covered in dirt and mud. Hungry, eyes tired. It spent most of its life here, in this cold and merciless shelter. It learned to tremble in its tiny cage, waiting. Sometimes a hand would reach out and leave food, but it never knew when that hand would turn harsh. It had learned to fear humans because they always treated it badly. The nights were harder. The wind that passed through the bars made its fur shiver, and the helpless howls of the other dogs echoed in its ears. It tried to sleep in the darkness, but hunger and fear would always wake it. One day, the shelter's gate creaked open. Footsteps echoed. A stranger walked slowly between the cages. He wore old but clean clothes. His hands were in his pockets, and there was a slight expression of curiosity on his face. The dog, frightened, withdrew to the corner of its cage. The man's eyes locked on this small, pitiful figure behind the bars. The man stopped, knelt down, and took a small piece of bread from his pocket, placing it in front of the cage. Then he remained still, waiting. The dog took a step back, its eyes shifting between the bread and the man. It was trapped between hunger and fear. Minutes passed. The man didn't move. The dog cautiously approached, then a little closer. Finally, it reached the bread and sniffed it. It couldn't bear the hunger any longer. It grabbed the bread and quickly pulled back. The man simply smiled. He wasn't dangerous. This moment changed the dog's life. The man took another piece of bread from his pocket, this time holding it in his hand. The dog moved a little closer, and for the first time, it ate from a human's hand. In that instant, something the dog had forgotten for years stirred within it. Trust. The man slowly reached out and gently petted the dog's head. The dog flinched at first, but then leaned into the touch. A stranger's touch had never felt so warm. The man petted it a few more times, then slowly opened the cage door. The dog shivered but didn't run. The man gently scooped it up into his arms. For the first time, the dog truly felt safe. The man got into his car. The dog had never been inside a car before. It looked out the window as the shelter quickly disappeared from view. Its past, its old life, was being left behind. It didn't know what lay ahead, but it didn't feel like a bad thing. The journey was long. The man occasionally looked at the dog and smiled. The dog's eyelids grew heavy. For the first time, it fell asleep, feeling truly safe. The car stopped. The man carried the dog into a warm home with a big garden. As he opened the door, the cheerful sounds of children filled the air. Two little kids ran toward their father. "Dad, who's this?" they asked excitedly. The man smiled. "Our new friend." The children excitedly circled the dog. At first, it was scared and backed away, but then it realized these little people wouldn't harm it. Their soft hands touched its fur, and its heart began to beat faster. But this wasn't fear. It was something the dog had almost forgotten: love. Days passed. The dog slowly got used to its new home. It now had a warm bed. It didn't have to struggle to find food anymore. It had playmates and a family that loved it. It ran in the garden with the children, played with them. For the first time, it truly felt like its life had meaning. The past was now just a memory. It knew it would never be hungry again or chased away. And most importantly, it had learned what it meant to be loved. Once a lost, lonely shelter dog, now it was part of a loving family. It was no longer just a dog. It was a friend. Outside, there are still thousands of dogs waiting in the cold, hungry, and longing for love. Maybe one day you'll give one of them a chance. And that's when their life will change forever. Hello, our valuable followers. Before starting our story, subscribe to our channel and like the video to reserve your place for the next video.